Mr. Bloom, 2 minutes, please.
Well, an FTT tax sounds like a really good idea, doesn't it? It plays well politically, and we can hit those greedy bankers who we all hate in public while we shovel money into their pockets in private, but I don't think it's going to quite work out that way. All taxes are passed on to customers at the end of the day. Sorry everybody, that's just how it works. So again, it'll be the little people that pick up the tab. It'll be savers, it'll be pensioners and ordinary folk that pick up this tax, not the greedy fat cat bankers that you're trying to get at. And it's interesting, is it not, also, if you look in the small print, they're saying some of the money raised can actually go towards perhaps saving future failed banks. So we know, we concede, do we not, that more banks are going to fail. We know this because we have the same ridiculous fractional reserve banking system, the same crooked money printing, criminal behaviour at the central banks, and so on and so forth. So nothing's changed. Another strong signal to bankers and politicians to continue the theft. But beware those who think taxing London is a risk-free game. And we mean London, don't we? Other EU countries, when it comes to financial services, are Mickey Mouse. Financial services are 14% of UK GDP. The UK contributes £50 million a day to this crumbling institution. Don't kill the goose that lays your golden eggs. Zurich, Geneva, New York and Hong Kong are licking their lips, wondering what piece of glorious stupidity we will come up with next. And an FTT is a special tax. What next? A special tax on sunshine holidays in Spain? High fashion in Paris? Luxury cars in Germany? Mobile phones in Finland, and a special, perhaps justifiable, tax on dreadful flat-pack furniture from Sweden. It's coming up your street next. The greedy bureaucrats just want your money.
Chcem sa opýtať pána Blooma, či si nemyslí, že ak obmedzíme daň z finančných transakcií.
Yes, thank you very much. I was just wondering, when it comes to this financial transaction tax, should we restrict this? We have the whole financial system that's led to the crisis, and if we were to introduce the FTT, would it not help us out?
No, the problem we have is fractional reserve banking, which means banks lend money that they don't have, central banks and politicians who print money which degrade currency. That is your problem. It isn't regulation, it isn't taxation. It's because frankly criminal behaviour at the world's central banks, and until that stops, nothing's going to change. There are a lot more bank failures coming down the road, believe me.
Bene, grazie, passiamo.
It is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money. And yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.